gummy bear.
It's the internet, you're busy. Let's do this for August 3rd, 2022. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, humans have dared to ask what if a Pokemon was bred. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host to Game Mess Mornings. It's Lucy James from Giant Bomb and GameSpot, everybody. Lucy, how's it going?
Good. I've got my coffee. When you say bread, do you mean like the wheat and yeast sort of substance, or the, you know, like bread as in shagging?
I mean, why not both? Let's just do it. Why not both?
Why not both?
Okay, that's a hell of a start to my morning right there.
I'm pretty sure they've been breeding them.
That's you know what? Today it's Lucy's birthday, right? You've given me a gift though with that right there. I did indeed mean like sourdough, like the wheat and yeast thing. There's a dog named Fido, and it's been spelled dough as in bread. Yes, but it's also a dog, so it's a breed.
Pokemon. I was like, Pokemon have some kind of breeding kink. I don't know. It's the morning. I got my big coffee.
No shaming over here. I hear it. I get it.
shaming.
I get it. Absolutely 100%. Lucy, how are you doing? What are you going to do for your birthday?
I'm doing well. I'm actually gonna spend. I didn't think like Wednesday is not a good day for a birthday. I didn't even want to take the day off. But tonight, I am going to have dinner with the Millers, and then we're gonna take Ben, who's my godson, swimming, and I get to be the one who like splashes him around in the pool. So I'm very excited. A very wholesome Wednesday.
So wholesome and pleasant. That's so much fun. Swimming babies, one of the top tier things you can do. It's just like watching a baby swim, because they're just like, yeah, this is great. This is like, I'm like floating. What is happening here? It's really good stuff. Well, I hope you enjoy that. Let's get into this mess. But before we do so, let's explain what we do here. Each weekday, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news, the catch up, where we discuss the biggest topics consuming the lives of gamers everywhere, and maybe even bring some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. Hello, Twitch. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings, or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube.
Wow.
Okay. We have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with the Pokemon Direct details. I borrowed these from Chris Carter over at Destructoid. He ran down basically what happened. There wasn't a ton. Our own Jan Ochoa woke up and did a solo stream to talk over that thing. So if you want to watch along with him, I'm pretty sure it's on the site now, or will be soonish.
That is how I will be watching, because my Pokemon train, there's probably a train Pokemon, sailed many years ago. So I need someone like Jan or you to tell me what to be excited about with Pokemon.
Well, I'll do my best here. Let's start with just a few details that they did ramping up to the news about Scarlet and Violet. I really want to say Scarlet and Nexus, but that is a different video game. Pokemon World Championships will be held on August 18th through the 21st in London. This is going to be one of their first in-person events in a long time, they said, I think. And it's going to have stuff like pop-up shops where you can get the Pikachu dressed up like he's in the King's Court or whatever, the Queen's Court. So if that's your jam, yes, it was pretty cute. They're also going to have Pokemon Go and Pokemon Unite events as part of those festivities. Pokemon Go is separately running an event in Sapporo, Japan, featuring Ultra Beast, and the Pokemon Go Fest finale is on August 27th. Daily Adventure Incense has also been added to the game. This is an item you can get in Pokemon Go that you can use once a day that activates for 15 minutes like per session, and it attracts legendary Pokemon. So for 15 minutes per day, you could try to go out for your walk and catch legendary Pokemon. Sapporo, Japan, by the way, they make good beer there in Sapporo.
You know what? Yeah, I've heard that.
It's pretty good stuff. The team reiterated that Pokemon Unite first anniversary event details. That this includes the Pika Party event, which starts today. And as it might sound, it is like all Pikachus all the time. They're also adding Buzzwole, who is a very strong looking bug Pokemon, which Buzzwole is just an incredible name, right?
Google that. I think you made that up.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, listen, you're probably make sure that you put on safe search so you don't get the breeding content. Pokemon Masters EX is celebrating its 3rd anniversary of some events. The Trainer Lodge, a big content update, are arriving in August. And then Mewtwo is returning to the Pokemon Cafe Remix with a 1-minute cooking mode. And Latios is in today with Latios coming later. So a lot of stuff happening with the mobile games.
Oh, that's a mobile game. I was like, I don't know what that is.
Right.
But if it's Pokemon cooking, like a cooking mama,
yeah,
I'm down with that.
it's I think it's like a it's a puzzle game. I think I've never played it, but they showed a little bit of stuff from it. I think it's the one where like little drops of Pokemon drop down into a thing, and then you have to like mix them together side by side, and like
that sounds hideous.
Yeah, it's an abomination, 100%.
Interesting. Okay.
The reason everyone really got out of bed this morning was the new information about Scarlet and Violet. They dropped a new trailer. One of the new interesting twists on this game is that the legendaries are front and center, and by that I mean they are like one of the first things you're going to get in this game is going to be a legendary Pokemon. They act as mounts that you can fly on, sail on, run around on, and drive on. One of them like looks like a motorcycle, and yet like they have wheels, like a wheel in the front and a wheel in the back, and yet they're like running around, and they didn't seem to use the wheels. Maybe they use the wheels if they go like a certain speed. It was odd. It was weird, but it's like, oh, okay, so this is what they're doing to sort of improve mobility in these games, make them feel like they go faster. But it's still kind of weird to get a legendary up front. So
yeah, I'm just. Oh yeah, wow, that
is a motorcycle with legs.
Is a motorcycle with also wings.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. They cool. Turn into like little planes and stuff. Yeah. It's fun. Let's see. Multiplayer was a huge focus of the trailer and was an in-game lore treasure hunt event and a new treasure-like form of Pokemon. It was hard for me to like, as someone who's only played a little bit of Pokemon over the years, and I mean, I liked Arceus. I was kind of looking for what from like the stuff I liked from Arceus is going to be in here. It was hard to sort of gauge that as a casual Pokemon player. Right now, so like taking the temperature of the reaction from the big Pokemon fans out there, people like Jam, people on Twitter, they're like still kind of like holding this game at arm's length. It seems like they're still not quite sure, what to expect from this game. And a lot of that comes down to, I think, like, oh, they're doing like new twists. A lot of games have stuff like Z attacks and mega transitions or whatever. And this game has something like that, and no one seems that excited about this version's twist. So it's kind of like, okay, many people are kind of holding it in a place where like we're going to need to play this before we can really decide whether or not it's very exciting. But all that said, it's Pokemon. It's going to sell very well, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. Pokemon is massive, always has been, probably always will be. I mean, as a kind of lapsed player, I always used to get Pokemon, but I never used to finish it. I don't know what it was, but it never, and especially as the franchise got bigger, I always just kind of was like, oh, this is too much for me. I prefer the original 151. I don't know what this paperclip is, what kind of, but friends of mine who are super, super into Pokemon, I'm also just intrigued, like, what the competitive scene is going to be like. I know that's a big draw for a lot of people. I can't wait for, what was it? Dexit? Was it with Sun and Moon?
Right.
Dexit?
Yes. The national Dex wasn't like, it didn't have all the Pokemon. Right. So, yes, the people were mad about that. I think people probably are still going to be mad about it, but not as mad this time as they were last time, because I'm pretty sure the same thing is happening with this game.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the prime kind of thing to, at least that's on my mind, especially as the Switch gets older, and someone in the chat mentioned it and it's already scrolled past, I'm sorry, but they mentioned performance. That's always going to be like, especially as Pokemon games, they aren't just, the 3D now. They're trying to go for this quasi open world thing, and I wonder how the Switch is going to figure it out.
Yeah, Game Freak, not exactly known for optimizations and building like very efficient engines that run. Like they were the ones that when they would put out their 3DS games, Pokemon games, like the actual physical 3D effect wouldn't work in their games because their games were too demanding for the 3DS. And it's like, okay. And it's like, well, they probably could have got that working, but they weren't going to spend time or budget on that. They're putting it in other places. That kind of always happens with these Pokemon games. I would expect it to be an issue here as well. Although, recently it feels like, Xenoblade came out, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I haven't played it, but I was kind of waiting for all the complaints about that game, and it sounds like it runs much better, higher resolution, better frame rate than Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So it's like maybe developers have figured something out. Maybe Nintendo has figured something out and has shared with developers, and we're getting better running games because of that. So
I've unticked this box for you. Off you go. I think the only thing I've heard about Xenoblade is draw distance, but other than that, apparently it runs quite well.
Yes, right, yeah. And it's like, that's the kind of thing where like the right trade-off could be made to make these games run better. Hopefully we see that with this Pokemon game. Other news coming out of like the Nintendo area. Nintendo reported that its earnings, Nintendo's June quarter sales fall 4.7% to $2.31 billion, while profits rise 28%. This comes from Dean Takahashi over at GamesBeat. Nintendo reported quarterly sales for the first fiscal quarter ended June 30th. June 30 were 2.31 billion, down 4.7%, with 2.42 billion a year ago. That's compared to 2.42 billion a year ago. Net profits, however, were 894.3 million, up 28.3% from 697.1 million a year earlier. Slumping Switch sales were to blame for the lower revenue. The Kyoto-based Japanese company said it sold 3.43 million Switch consoles in the quarter. That is down from 4.45 million from the same period a year ago. All told, Nintendo sold 23 million Switch systems last year. It has sold a total of 111 million Switch systems since launch. We'll check in real quick here, Lucy. Obviously, they sold a ton of Switches up until this point, sold a ton of Switches through the pandemic. 3.43 million Switch systems sold in this last quarter for a 5.5-year-old system. Still pretty good, right?
Oh yeah, that's fantastic. Like, it's kind of frustrating though, because it's like, where's the next one? Where's the next one? Well, if you all stop buying the current one, then maybe we'll work on the next one. I think that's really good. And like, what were people buying this time last year? What was the big game?
Yeah, I'm trying to like place. I know like what was happening with like PlayStation 5 was getting like Returnal, Ratchet and Clank and stuff. What was Switch had some stuff around that time of year, but I can't remember. Was it no, Kirby was this year.
Oh, what the cat Mario game?
Was it Super Mario 3D
Bowser,
World?
Bowser's Fury.
Right.
Or was that when? I even lost
that. Plus Bowser's Fury. That seems right. There was like Mario stuff happening around that time, or that was January. So okay, there was definitely like games coming out for the Switch during that time, but also it sort of was the effect of Mario Kart 8 is just out, and we're families, and we're going to go buy something during the pandemic, and it's going to be a Switch, and we're going to get Mario Kart 8, and we're going to get Mario Party, and that stuff, like every quarter that was happening, regardless of what other new games were coming out. And that still is, it still seems like it's what's powering the Switch's success at this point. It's just obviously coming back down to earth a little bit after the highs of the pandemic for the video game industry.
I was going to say, like, you can't kind of overstate how big the Switch was, especially in 2020. Like, they were hard to find for a while, which, at that point for a 3-year-old console is ridiculous. So, 4-year-old console.
Yeah, and it's the kind of thing where like they talked about how this was the middle of the life for the Switch because it was being so successful. And PlayStation 5 sold like 2.4 million, or Sony sold 2.4 million PlayStation 5s during the same quarter. Obviously, that's supply constrained, but they are expecting to get to like 18 million PlayStation 5s by the end of this year because the other quarters are going to be even bigger. You could probably expect the other quarters to be even bigger for the Switch. This is going to be a relatively slow quarter compared to holidays and fall and even like the first quarter next year on the calendar. So this system probably still going to sell around 20 million units this year. That's why we don't hear news about a new one, right? Because any system that's selling 20 million units in a year, you just don't do anything to upset that anytime soon, right? I mean, all that said, maybe they have a transition to a plan for a transition to a new system that does incorporate keeping the Switch around longer or making it feel like maybe like something between a Pro and a Switch 2, something more iterative, or like what they do with iPad and iPhones. But that's the only way that I think they could really sort of go to something new, because otherwise you don't want to leave behind the system that is just still selling so well.
No, and especially, and like, it's Nintendo, so they're gonna want to figure out like some cool thing that's like the USP of it. It's not exactly gonna go Switch to Switch 2. They want to have some kind of angle on it, you know?
Yeah, and Chad, they said the big WarioWare game around this time last year was WarioWare. I'm sorry, the big Switch game was WarioWare, and which is wasn't a huge seller. So, Switch sales, hardware sales, kind of detached from the software sales, and the software sales were still doing fine for the most part for Nintendo. Nintendo said its forecast for the fiscal year ending March 31st, 2023 is to hit net sales of $12 billion and profits of $2.55 billion. The forecast is unchanged from a quarter ago. It aims to sell 21 million Switch units during the fiscal year. That's a massive number for 5 going into 6 years of a system.
Massive number that I can't possibly comprehend.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, yep, cool. That's a lot.
It's putting it on. So, what is it? This was a Q1 for them. So, that's going to put them really close to 135 million. It's going to put them like 125 to 130 million by the end of this year. That puts it right on the path to kind of getting close to that PlayStation 2 number of like 155 million or something like that. Might not get there, but if they launch something that is a Switch Pro and that's still the same thing, it will easily get there. Actually, it could go to like 200 million if that's how they're going to do things, but we'll have to see.
I love a workaround. Yeah.
Yes,
it's
exactly.
Still the same thing. It's fine.
Yeah, Game Boy Color is the same thing, according to Nintendo, and they combined those sales. So yes, it's the same thing. Let's see. Nintendo said that Nintendo Switch Sports, which debuted in April, saw sales of 4.84 million copies, while Mario Strikers Battle League, released in June, saw sales of 1.91 million copies. I think that's about what I was expecting for Mario Strikers, a game that I enjoy, but most people seem pretty lukewarm about. Those Switch Sports numbers, 4.84, like nearly 5 million copies sold. That's pretty good for that, right?
Yeah, because from what a bunch of people were saying, it's like, I don't know, it didn't seem as fun. There was stuff missing.
It was fun for the first week. It's fun. It's fun. It is that game again, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Is golf launched for it yet?
I don't think so.
Not yet.
No. I'll check back on when golf
I'll check
comes.
back in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I know Jordan over at GameSpot is obsessed with the volleyball. Like, he's obsessed with it.
It's fun. That is actually one of the fun new games in there. Sales were strong for the Nintendo Switch downloadable versions of packaged software, and Nintendo Switch Online sales were higher. Overall, digital sales were up 16% in the quarter from a year ago. This leads us into another standout release for Nintendo from earlier this year. Kirby and the Forgotten Land has sold over 4 million copies. This comes from Mike Minotti at GamesBeat. As part of its latest financial results, Nintendo revealed that Kirby and the Forgotten Land has sold 4 million copies in its first 15 weeks, following its March 25th release on Switch. Total sales for the game are at 4.53 million. Nintendo claims that this marks the highest sell-through of any entry to date in the Kirby series, which celebrated its 30th anniversary in April of this year. Some estimates, however, have put sales of the first entry in the franchise, Kirby's Dream Land, at above 5 million. Still, it seems like this game's well on its way to getting past 5 million, right?
100%. I think there was just so much goodwill about that game, and not just because mouthful mode is very easily to meme, but it just seems like it was a really fun little platformer, and a lot of people really enjoyed it. So, a lot of fun, puzzle game. So, I don't know. It's one that I didn't dip into just because, I think I was still playing Elden Ring at the time.
Yeah,
but now that stuff is kind of like eased off a little bit, there are a couple games that I'm playing, but like maybe I was about to say I'll wait for it to go on sale, but it's Nintendo.
Yeah, not anytime soon, and if it does, it'll be for $45.
$5 off
on Black Friday. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I've started it. I put it down for various reasons. My plan is to go back to that, and then I'm gonna go beat Arceus as well. I enjoyed what I play of Kirby. What I like about it is it keeps getting better as you play it. Like, it keeps getting more interesting as you go along, and that's what surprised me about it. But the bigger thing here is, doesn't this just speak to how things have changed? There was a time during like the Wii era where you would put out Nintendo would put out Super Mario Galaxy, and they would put out New Super Mario Brothers Wii, and New Super Mario Brothers Wii would just crush Super Mario Galaxy in terms of sales. Yep. And now 3D gaming, I think primarily because of stuff like Minecraft and Fortnite, which have taught like many kids how to use 2 sticks at the same time. 3D gaming has just completely flipped and become so much more popular. And so a real 3D Kirby game is like just zooming past all these other games because now it feels modern and it's getting more people interested. And I hope Nintendo takes this lesson to heart. And as much as I love their 2D games and want them to keep making 2D side scrollers, that'd be great. Make more of these, take more of your characters and put them in 3D platformers as well, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I think you're totally right about the Fortnite, the Minecraft, not only teaching kids, but it's in all of the media that they're exposed to. Like most of the big YouTubers will get their start with Minecraft or Fortnite. And so it's become, that's the norm for them. And so I wonder if, oh God, if kids don't see 2D games as being like really old fashioned. And I'm like, oh, part of me dies a little bit inside, but they can't help it. That's the world in which they've been grown up in. Like we grew up with like 16-bit, 32, 64, like full 3D, like, if we go back to Pong, that seems old fashioned to us, right? So, it's cool. I'm really glad as well because it just feels like a bigger pedestal, like a bigger spotlight for characters like Kirby and, like Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker. Couldn't really see that one getting its own spin-off really, but for that to do well and be a good game in its own right is very exciting. And so these kids don't know how good they've got it.
It's the best time to be the gamer of any age, absolutely. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 earns largest UK launch in franchise history. This is by Jordan Midler at VGC. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is the largest UK launch in the history of the franchise in terms of box sales. That's according to data shared by GfK boss Dorian Block on GamesIndustry.biz, which suggests the game was also the best-selling box game in the UK last week. However, according to Block, it only very, very narrowly beat Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Interestingly, the previous 2 Xenoblade entries on Nintendo Switch, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, generated more money during their launch weeks. This has been attributed to the special editions of both games, which sported higher price tags. The special edition of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was not sold during launch week and will instead launch later this year. There's like issues with like getting that together, I think, and that's been a huge hassle for everyone involved. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is the 5th biggest Switch launch of the year behind Pokemon Legends Arceus, Nintendo Switch Sports, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, and Kirby and the Forgotten Land. For a Switch exclusive launching this big RPG, this franchise that also still seems to have a niche appeal to a certain extent, that's pretty good company to be in that top 5 for launches in the UK.
Yeah, I mean, it has also been a much quieter year, and I always kind of forget that Lego Star Wars was as big as it was. But
massive.
No, I think, massive. But like for Xenoblade, I still don't even, and I've worked in games for a long time. It's always been a franchise that I kind of forget about, but it does have this increasingly growing fan base. People really dig, especially the last 2. It feels like 2 and now 3. And I'm like, oh, do I have the time for another 100-hour JRPG?
Yeah.
Or could I just play Final Fantasy 12 again?
Yeah, you could do that.
But to see what I consider. I'm definitely just prefacing that a JRPG on the more niche side. To do so well is great. So
yeah, and it definitely seems like it deserves it based on the reaction and the improvements that Monolith has made to this version of the game. Where hey, we're gonna make this play faster, and we're gonna improve the quality of the game in terms of resolution, all this other stuff. So yeah, it seems well deserved, and I am actually going to check it out, even though I'm not a big JRPG guy, just because I hear how quickly it gets going, and part of me is like, I always hear people talking about this franchise, and whenever it comes up, or whenever people talk about like, hey, a Nintendo game you're excited about, people say Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that is a game, and now I feel like I'll just try it for myself finally and form my own opinion on it. THQ Nordic is publishing AEW Fight Forever. This just got confirmed, stuff that we pretty much knew, but they put out a teaser trailer that also doesn't have a ton of stuff, but it's 26 seconds here. I'll just play it. It doesn't even show much gameplay, but it's just, hey, it's THQ Nordic is publishing. Here's the announcement teaser. They did also confirm some stuff we talked about, I think on the Bombcast, if not earlier this week. It's coming to PC, it's coming to PlayStation 4, and then it's coming to modern consoles and Switch. It's not coming to Xbox One though, I believe. But this is like the PC confirmation, all that stuff. You can wish list it now and all that.
Oh,
so,
sorry, that was it.
that was it.
I was like, okay, waiting for it to get good.
No, it doesn't do that. It doesn't do that. It's like kind of weird, kind of awkward that there's not like more gameplay, but it is just a teaser trailer. There's probably more coming soon. So
Wait, so Ukes did WWE, right?
they did WWE, and then they're like, and we're gonna go experiment on our own wrestling game, and then WWE and Take Two, 2K were like, no, you can't do that, and there was a falling out, and 2K fired Ukes and gave everything to Visual Concepts. Is that who does that game now? And then the first one was super bad, and then they took a year off, and then Visual Concepts came back with a good one. Thanks, Marino. So there is a THQ Nordic event next week. That is right. That THQ Nordic event that's been like they announced forever and ever and ever ago.
Preempt Gamescom.
Yes. Okay. So that makes sense. So we'll probably hear and see more of that game there. That makes sense.
Oh, there's some leaked gameplay. The mini games in AEW Fiverr.
All right. Let's take a look here.
What is going on there?
Yeah, Tony Schiavone.
What is going on?
I'll just let you all enjoy that on your own time.
I don't.
That's those are the noises you make when you watch AEW. I totally agree.
I don't understand what AEW is.
That's
too
fair.
scared to ask.
No, don't. Yeah, absolutely. Just keep nodding and smiling.
I was gonna say, is
Riker
here? Because he would.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I would rather not invoke Dan Reichert in wrestling to derail this awesome show we have going so far. We'll see if he's in chat.
He made us watch Tiptoes, okay?
He did make us watch Tiptoes and was very aggressive about making sure we did not leave. And yeah, that's Dan Reichert right there.
There was a point where I did fall asleep, and Tam messaged me. He was like, "You were called on, and you did not answer."
Everyone, go watch the trailer for Tiptoes. That's your homework for today. Man, what a movie. EA says single-player games are a really important part of its portfolio. This comes from Tom Ivan at VGC. Electronic Arts has said that single-player games are, quote, a really, really important part of its overall product mix. After appearing to actively shift away from making single-player games during the 2010s, the company has seemingly warmed to them again following the success of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. And I've reported this before. That's exactly what happened. There was a time when they're like, hey, we make a lot of different kinds of games. And then they're like, let's make Mirror's Edge Catalyst because everyone says they want that. And then they made it and not many people bought it. And they're like, well, fuck that. We're not doing that anymore. Live service games are much more reliable and we can make consistent money for them. And then they're like, well, we got to make a Star Wars game because we made this deal. Maybe we can put Respawn on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, whatever. That game was a huge success for them. And now they're like, oh, we can make money from single player games again. That includes, like, right now they are working on Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Dragon Age Dreadwolf, and Dead Space Remake. And like they'll go over some stuff.
They didn't put. Wait. Is that a list that they said?
I think this is a list of confirmed games, right? Why? What's your question about this?
Oh, Mass Effect.
Yeah, Mass Effect's definitely coming after Dragon Age Dreadwolf. It's still ways off though. But the history of Dragon Age 4 or whatever it is, that was also being looked at as maybe being a live service multiplayer game, and then they backed off of that, and they're like, we are
I remember
very
that.
specifically going to make this a single player game, and all that was accurate too.
Dragon Age Inquisition had that weird multiplayer mode that it was basically tried to be Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, but it was just like.
Yeah, Mass Effect multiplayer were very successful for them. Of course, they were going to try to go for that, but, in addition, obviously, they're also making that Black Panther game we talked about last week.
Oh yeah.
And they're making another Marvel game that's single player. And what else they got? The Mass Effect, and there was another. Oh yeah, and then the single player Apex Legends, stylized shooter game that's focused on mobility and stuff.
Yeah.
So, they have a lot in the works over there when it comes to single player stuff. Now, all that said, EA's chief financial officer, Chris Sue, followed up by noting that live services account for almost 3/4 of EA's total business. And he says, if we think about the model impact and the financial impact of it, I think the first thing to always keep in mind is that live services still encompass on a trailing 12-month basis over 70% of our business. And that has been a proven, very reliable, highly reoccurring revenue stream. and that will still be the predominant driver in our profit and loss long term. So they're not like, they are still fully embracing live service. It's just they are making a lot of single player games to go alongside with that. And I think that's kind of the right balance, right? It's like, we get it.
Yeah.
Multiplayer live service games are reliable. They are the kind of thing where you can base your future as a developer on, we can expect to make this amount of money if we put out this amount of content based on how many players we have. But I still really like a lot of single player games. Could you make some of those as one of the biggest publishers in the world and just show that you believe in different kinds of games? And that seems to be their stance right now.
Yeah, which is good. And I think as well, you know, if you, and I'm kind of using a Ubisoft example here, but like, look at kind of the way they've approached launching new multiplayer experiences that are completely unknown, like Hyperscape, RIP, Roller Champions, like games that they're trying to launch off their own merit, where we're at a place now with media where people don't like to take risks on things that are unknown. And in terms of like investment, like a shorter single player story seems to be a bit of an easier sell than, oh, you're gonna have this live service game. It feels like a commitment, right? And so kind of like looking at it a little bit, what's the word? It's early in the morning. Not critically, but like not pessimistically.
Skeptically,
Yeah, skeptically. Like, you could say that like Apex Legends is an amazing game, but would it have had the same impact if people hadn't have been like, oh, this is from the Titanfall people, this is set in the Titanfall universe? And I know that Titanfall was a multiplayer game, like, but you know, it had that single player thing. And that's the thing that kind of keeps people really invested and like looking for those ties, looking for those characters. And I wonder if it's like they want people to have more of an emotional connection to their games, and I think that's easier to do in a single player than. That was a really garbled answer, but it's early in the morning. But you get what I'm trying to get at.
I get exactly what you're trying to get at. There are it is very easy for people to people who love single player games dominate a lot of the conversation, because the people who are playing multiplayer games are just off in their own little corners playing with other people playing that multiplayer game. And so when people show up to talk about EA and they don't have any single player games to feel good about, it's like, it doesn't even feel like a real publisher anymore. And by having a good mix of all these different things, it helps raise the profile, improve the profile and reputation of EA. And then on top of that, it raises the profile of these individual properties, like you said, like the Titanfall thing there. If
merch. Well, I mean, that's the thing as well. Now we're getting things like the Dragon Age anime, where it's like a ton of merch. You know,
right.
It feels like community wise and like conversation wise, both of them have, like, the Apex community is absolutely massive, but like,
but you don't see
the thing that they latch on to
hoodies, the equivalent of an N7 hoodie from the Apex Legends community. At least I just don't see that.
I don't, but what I do see is like theory crafting, and that stuff is about the lore. It's about the characters. It's not theory crafting about, oh, how's the Spitfire gonna work? It's the kind of story building stuff, and I think EA knows that they connect to people with stories, or at least I hope they do. I hope they know that.
I think they're learning that, at least. Let's see. EA also talked about their fiscal year 23 title slate. Let's bring this up. I think F1 22 already came out, Q1. Obviously, for Q2, they're going to have FIFA 23 and Madden NFL 23. Then Q3, Need for Speed and NHL. And I've talked previously, yes, Need for Speed's coming out October, November-ish time. It's the one that takes place in Chicago, a fictionalized version of Chicago. It's going to have like a lot of like a graphical glitchy elements on top of it. At least it did in some early tests. That stuff could change. Then in Q4, we get Dead Space, PGA Tour. And previously, the last time they showed us this image here, they just said PGA Tour, and then they said we're going to have a major remake, we're going to have a sports game, and then a major IP. And at the time, it was like, well, the major remake was Dead Space, the sports game was Super Mega Baseball, and the major IP was Star Wars Jedi Survivor. This time, they've confirmed that Dead Space and Super Mega Baseball are those two games. And then in the call they did, they're like, don't assume the major IP is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. It is.
How else is it going to be?
It is right. But for one thing, what else is going to be? Second, I know it definitely 100% is. That is the game they're talking about there. That's my guess here, and this is based on like the things I hear out of Lucasfilm, is Lucasfilm likes to be the one in charge of announcing Star Wars games. And so EA's kind of, my guess here is that EA is probably like, we'll kind of pretend we'll take the
Wink.
bullet. We'll kind of we'll wink for everybody so that Lucasfilm can be crucial to the announcement stuff and not get the legs swept out from underneath them and stuff like that. The partner title, I actually don't know what that is. I haven't.
Partner title. So what, is that going to be like one of those EA originals, or?
I believe that's what it is. It's just not a Joseph Ferris game. I do know it's not a Joseph Ferris game. That would be too soon anyhow. So yeah.
I wonder.
Right.
How's Yanni doing? Is Yanni still a thing?
Do we get a Yarny 3?
Yarny 3?
Unraveled 3? Probably not. They did 2 of those. I'm sure they did okay, but they were no take. It Takes Two, obviously. No. It Takes Two, a massive success for them. So
no.
New Modern Warfare 2 details will be revealed on Sunday. This is just a quick heads up. You could tune into the championship Sunday for the Call of Duty League. This is where the top players are going to be playing for whatever, but they are going to be announcing new details about the upcoming game. You can also win beta codes by watching this. So if you want to go watch the Call of Duty League Championship to win a beta code for a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, go for it.
And on a Sunday? Grow up.
Sunday, right? Yeah. Hey, that's the sporting day. It's the day you watch sports, like esports.
Is it? Oh God.
Now in America it is for football, but I don't know.
Oh, I think it isn't. I think
Saturday.
Is football on a Saturday?
Yeah, I can't remember. Saturday and like Wednesdays for soccer. Sorry, I said it. Assassin's Creed Valhalla goes roguelite with today's free Forgotten Saga update. This comes from CJ Wheeler at Rock Paper Shotgun. Today's free Forgotten Saga update is hoping to draw you back into the game again and again. That's because it's inspired by roguelites, you see. Forgotten Saga is meant to be a roguelite experience, roguelite style experience in the realm of the dead, Niflheim. I'm going to say these things wrong and people are going to get mad at me, but I'm just going to go for it.
Oh, Niflheim.
Niflheim, plunging headfirst into the Norse fantasy worlds introduced in Valhalla in Dawn of Ragnarok. But don't worry, because you don't need the paid Dawn of Ragnarok saga stuff to unlock this new roguelite mode. Basically, you just got to get to a certain point of the game, and then you enter Niflheim, and you will play as godparent Odin, who starts with random weapons, and you're trying to search for a missing son, Balder. And as you play, you get randomized upgrades as well. Think Hades, obviously a roguelite. But honestly, think a lot of games right now. This is the kind of thing I'm actually really into, Lucy, where to keep games interesting, a lot of games are adding roguelite modes. I just played the Streets of Rage 4 roguelite mode for the first time, where you get random upgrades for your characters and you try to get as far as you possibly can. And I'm like, this is fantastic. This is such a good thing to add to games that you've played a lot of to keep them fresh and interesting. Cool. So I'm all in favor of more games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla doing this. I think personally that this kind of mode probably going to work even better in Assassin's Creed Infinite, the live service one that's going to keep people around longer, right?
Oh yeah, because I mean I am not gonna reinstall and download Assassin's Creed Valhalla for this.
Yes, exactly. Very unlikely for me too. Yeah,
but maybe,
maybe it was on Steam Deck, I might, but I don't think it is. Yeah.
But I mean, no. In terms of roguelite elements, I'm a sucker for it. I love just one more round. Yep, so I think that's cool. And I also think, honestly, it's nice to see them just do something different with Assassin's Creed that doesn't feel. It doesn't feel like a Ubisoftification. And I hate that that's become a negative thing now. But in my mind, it's like, it's nice to see them trying something. And I think this seems fun. I
think one of their other their Tom Clancy games got rebooted, and they are going to introduce roguelite elements into that as well. So maybe this is the latest Ubisoftification, and in a year we'll be like, oh my god, all they do is roguelite games.
We've lost the towers, but we've got the roguelite elements. It's all right.
Maybe that's better in the long run, though. All right, Dead Island 2 re-reveal is planned for Q4 of 2022. This comes from Tom Henderson at Try Hard Guides. Sources with knowledge of the plans surrounding Dead Island 2 have said that the game is likely to be re-revealed later this year. Although an exact reveal date of Dead Island 2 was not provided, the same sources said the reveal at the Game Awards later this year would, quote unquote, make a lot of sense. This is something we've been like...
You've been making it anymore. Christ alive.
I just forget about it, right? Because it's like, does this thing even exist? Didn't it come out, or was that Dead Island Riptide? Did Dead Island Riptide ever come out? That's where I'm at with this series. But apparently they've been working on it. I honestly don't know.
2013.
Yeah.
Then there was a game called Escape Dead Island.
There was, huh? I never heard of it. Is it what
Published
is
by
it?
Deep Silver, distributed by
Right.
Square Enix, for PS3, Xbox 360, and Steam. It's a survival mystery game.
Yeah, the first Dead Island was by Techland. Yes,
Yeah.
that's right, everybody in chat and stuff. But this one is not, right. This is a different team. Yeah, it's Dam Buster. Is that the name of the studio? Okay.
Yeah, that's who's making Dead Island 2.
right,
Sorry,
fair
I just saw that Justin McElroy from Polygon declared Escape Dead Island the worst game I've ever finished. Wow, which is damning with such
I
faint
might have
praise.
to read whatever he wrote about that. That's
Me
fantastic.
too. Yeah, so this one was Techland, and then it went to Jaeger, then it
Right.
went to Sumo, and now it's Dam Buster.
Right, and Dead Island 2 is the one that has the trailer where the guy is jogging on the beach, right?
And
all
then that's the
zombies
one
he doesn't know.
that Goat Simulator took the piss out of.
Exactly, which is just a wild thing for Goat Simulator to do, but whatever. Yeah, so okay, sources are saying that, according to Tom Henderson, that the game is very good, and people are very into it. They're doing a lot. They're doing a lot of playtests at Dam Buster, focusing on the cooperative play feature of the game. It says, in addition, it's also been suggested that the cast is completely new with 5 to 6 new characters coming to the game. Well, then I'm not playing if I don't get those classic Dead Island characters that I know and love. Lucy, can you name any
Who
characters
even
from Dead
was it? Who
Yeah, I
even
have
was
no
it?
idea. No idea.
And I played that game. Oh my god, the main character is called Ryder White.
Oh,
Stop it. Oh, no.
fantastic
2 weeks
stuff.
prior to the outbreak, Ryder White, a colonel in the BIDF.
The bit
That's the
of,
difference.
right? Yeah.
Bit of. Okay, wait. So the main character was Sam B, who's voiced by Phil Lamar, a one-hit wonder rap
Really?
star from New Orleans. And then there was Jean May, Logan Carter, Perna Jackson, and Ryder White.
Phil Lamar, best known as the other voice of Jar Jar Binks, I believe. That's actually not what he's best known as, but he is.
Well, I was going to say clearly best known for Futurama.
Yes. Let's see.
And also being that guy in Pulp Fiction who gets his head blown off.
Right, exactly, and Mad TV and all that stuff. Yeah. Following the original report, Deep Silver and parent company Embracer Group had said in its financial call that they at least expect the release next financial year. As the comments were made before the end of that fiscal year, it would imply that Dead Island 2 is scheduled to release by March 31st of 2023. So this, you know what this feels like to me? This feels like we hear about it at Gamescom, and then it comes out in first quarter next year.
Yeah, but I mean, I was going to say Game Awards as well, maybe like a second little push, but yeah, Gamescom.
Yeah.
Hang on, wait. I played Dead Island 2 at Gamescom when it first got revealed.
Oh my God. When was that? Like 2015?
2015.
Jesus. Well,
Might have even been 2014.
good luck to that. I hope the game comes out and just surprises everybody. That would be great. That'd be fantastic. I want games to be good. That's on with me.
Yeah.
Logitech G and Tencent Games announced partnership to advance handheld cloud gaming. They're going to do this by launching a cloud gaming device. Today, Logitech G and Tencent Games announced a partnership to bring a cloud gaming handheld to the market later this year that will combine Logitech G's expertise in hardware with Tencent Games' expertise in software services. The new device will support multiple cloud gaming services, and both companies are working with the Xbox Cloud Gaming and NVIDIA GeForce Now teams, so gamers can play AAA games when they are away from their console or PC. This is probably not going to be a Switch killer, probably not going to be a Steam Deck competitor. It's probably going to be a relatively affordable device, you would imagine, right? And it's one that doesn't, at least I think for Logitech, probably doesn't need to be a 10 million unit seller, maybe for Tencent, but for Logitech, it's like, if it sells anywhere near 1 million, that's going to be pretty successful for them, right?
But like, why are they doing this? I can play on here.
I mean,
you know what I've been doing recently? Steam Link.
really?
Yeah, I never used it before, and then I really wanted to play Bear and Breakfast, but I didn't want to sit at my desk because I
Right.
sit at my desk all day every day, and I was like, I want to sit on my couch. I went on my TV. My TV already had Steam Link
the Steam
built
Link app.
in.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Bear and Breakfast does not have controller support yet, but I've been playing some other stuff just through Steam Link onto my TV. And because I'm on the same network, it's pretty much seamless. It's fantastic. Like,
yeah, the Steam Link app is actually pretty good.
Yeah, and so I've been like, that's the thing. It's like, it already exists. Like, xCloud, I can play. I was playing on my, last time I went home, I was playing on my Xbox, like, on my tablet. Just super easy. I could put it on my PC if I wanted to. I can play my PlayStation 5 on there. Like, I can play Steam Link anywhere. So I don't understand why they're coming out with a new thing. Like, who's gonna buy it?
Yeah, this is it's a kind of a market, a potential market that's pretty squished out by other things that already exist, right? I think that I could see the reasoning being like that last mile problem of not like the last mile of laying like cable to a person's home or whatever, but the last mile of, okay, you have the content being streamed to your home. How do you actually engage with it? And some people be like, I will just play on my phone and use touchscreen controls, and I'm fine with that. But I think there's a lot of people who are like, that's uncomfortable for me. If I had a dedicated controller thing, that would be good. And by combining like the screen and the controller into one thing, maybe that solves the problem for some people. I just don't think it's some massive audience. There's no way it's this is the secret device that's going to finally make cloud gaming this massively appealing prospect to a ton of people. I think most people, for the most part, are going to still be happy to go to the Switch or to the Steam Deck and just play things natively. And if those things get cloud streaming stuff on them, I mean, Switch does, Steam Deck can, they'll just do it through those kinds of devices. And then when, you are traveling or you're on a place that it doesn't have great internet connection, you could still play your games. I think most people are going to want that instead.
Yeah. But I mean, oh God, remember Google Stadia?
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about that in the catch-up. We'll see if we have time a little bit. I want to touch on it a little bit, so we'll get to that. Let's do this story, which just broke. Thanks to Tam, I think, for adding this. Blizzard, and NetEase scrap Warcraft mobile game after financing dispute. Activision Blizzard Inc. and NetEase Inc. have torpedoed a World of Warcraft smartphone game that has been in development for 3 years, raising questions about one of the industry's most lucrative business relationships. The now canceled title, codenamed Neptune, was envisioned as a massively multiplayer online role-playing game set in the same universe as World of Warcraft. It wouldn't be a direct translation of the popular online game, but a spin-off set during a different time period. A spokesperson for NetEase declined to comment, and Activision Blizzard spokesperson had no comment. NetEase has disbanded a team of more than 100 developers tasked with creating the content for the title, only some of whom were offered internal transfers, people familiar with the matter said. The two companies disagreed over terms and ultimately called a halt to the project, which had been kept under wraps, a person familiar with the deal said, asking to not be identified, discussing private information. NetEase has disbanded a team of more than 100 developers tasked with creating content for the title. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm repeating stuff now. My bad. I'm just Ron Burgundy over here. Okay, this is weird. Why is this happening this week? These projects have been in development for a long time, getting put on the shelf. I mean, it's happening over at WB with some of their movies for tax reasons, apparently. And it's like, you put all this work in. How hard can it be to find the common ground on a deal where both entities can benefit, and then you can put all that work to use? So, I mean, I guess I get like it not being tied down by the sunk cost fallacy of like, we put in all this money, we have to get something out of it. But this still feels like a backward way of doing things.
Yeah, especially, I wonder if it isn't something to do with what's happened with Diablo Immortal and how, I mean, that game has made a ton of money, and I wonder if it isn't just some dispute over where that money has gone. Because, yeah, you don't just scrap something that's been you don't often scrap something that's been in development for 3 years, especially when it has something like Warcraft attached to it. Like, Diablo Immortal, yeah, like, I'm not gonna play it. I don't want to go for those microtransactions, but like, it's certainly found an audience. It's made a ton of money. I don't understand why they couldn't think that Warcraft would do the same. So there's definitely something else going on. Yeah, it's quite interesting to see what though, and I wonder if it is Diablo Immortals has anything to do with it.
Yeah, possibly. It's like, you have the one successful thing. You don't need to force another, I guess. And Diablo Immortal, very, very successful. Absolutely. Okay, let's go into the catch-up. I want to just give people a heads up about Game Pass games coming in August. Cloud plus console plus PC are getting Ghost Recon Wildlands, Cooking Simulator, 2 Point Campus, and Turbo Golf Racing. I think Two Point Campus and Turbo Golf Racing, both brand new games, right?
Yeah, Two Point Campus comes out next week.
And
This week.
Turbo Golf Racing comes out tomorrow. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. Ghost Recon Wildlands. I wonder if that gets any bump from Game Pass. That's one of those ones that that was the Ghost Recon game that was like made Ubisoft rethink everything they were doing because it fizzled so quickly. For PC only, Game Pass, Expeditions Rome, Off-World Trading Company, and Shenzhen IO. So look out for those if you are a Game Pass subscriber. During the Pokemon Direct, Lucy, I know you didn't watch it. They showed one of the characters in the game speaking. And Jan Ochoa was like, wow, voice acting. And then the trailer, if you go to watch the trailer now on YouTube, actually, let me see if I can get this. Where do I have this? I have this somewhere. Yeah, there we go. Let me transition here. The trailer does not reflect actual gameplay experience. The on-screen text and voiceovers are not present in the game.
But why?
And it says voiceovers, and I don't know, maybe does that apply to voice acting? But when you watch the trailer, it's very clear that like that character and many other characters are not voiced in almost every other scenario other than this one instance where the character is just sort of telling. It does sound like a voiceover for a trailer, and it sounds like the character is narrating the trailer. This is weird, right? Why do they do that? Why do they draw attention to the fact that Pokemon still doesn't have voice acting?
So weird. And I mean, I get it. I get why you don't want to put voice acting in. It's a localization cost. You have to pay extra for actors. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, saving money is fun. I get it.
Well, why put it in the trailer?
It's really bizarre.
Like you could. I mean, I haven't watched this yet, but like, sorry, Raisin B-Man says, I don't understand. Was Chris Pratt busy?
That's the only explanation. It's
a him.
Yeah, doing
Ash.
every character. Yeah.
Professor Oak.
I choose you, Pikachu. I remember when I was in the laundromat and I saw a Pikachu and I didn't have the money to play with them, but I'm sorry. My Chris Pratt story I go back to. We'll ask about this in the poll because I think about voice acting coming to Pokemon ever. To me, it doesn't seem like it's very likely, but
and I mean, Ash Ketchum, very good, very good.
There you go.
That's just so weird. Why would you do that? That's like the opposite of marketing.
Google says it's not shutting down Stadia. And Lucy, do you believe them?
No. I think Stadia as what it was originally envisioned is pretty much dead in the water. But I think that technology is going to be repurposed somewhere else. And I think that was supposed to be their plan, right? Was to kind of shop it around. And I just wonder if maybe they just haven't found the home for it yet. Yeah, or the business, because it is like it was pretty good tech, but like the tech will live on somewhere else.
Exactly. This thing frustrates me in particular because it's this has happened to me twice in the last couple of months. I think once with Battlefield, and the other time, what did I say was getting shut? Something else. And I was like, okay, things are not going great.
Roller Champions?
Thank you, Roller Champions. I'm like, things are not going great there. They're probably going to wrap things up. And, you know, I'll say a word like canceled, or I'll say a word like skeleton crew. And I think these companies will come back and be like, well, that's not exactly what's happening, so this story isn't accurate. And I'm like, okay. It's very frustrating to say, like trying to nail down the exact truth on the ground of what is happening with a game or a service that is either coming to an end or is trying to figure out how to transition into this long end of life process or whatever. And so it's like the
end of life care.
Yeah, end of life care. Trying to figure out the verbiage around it is difficult. And so when I'm like people try to tell these stories or try to figure out what's going on, and then these companies just come back and don't really provide extra information. They just say that particular thing isn't true. Yeah. And it's like, well, then what is happening over there? Tell us more about what's going on. And I think, and I still think in many cases, the things they do answer to, and they say, oh, well, you know, we still have plans to do other things. It's never quite denying what the original story, the original reporting is trying to get at. But I would imagine Stadia.
I wonder if it's like a shareholder thing, you know? Maybe. It's like they didn't get to control the messaging, and so they want to get as much control as they can, possibly, so it doesn't look like it's a really bad thing.
That's probably a very good point. Okay, let's get to the polls. Let's bring these up here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Is Call of Duty on Game Pass going to convince more players to pick up an Xbox? We asked this on Monday, and 79.3% said yes, 20.7% said no. And I think that's a fair split on that, because that's the whole point of it, right, Lucy? The whole reason you spend all that money is to shift people towards your platform, correct?
Exactly. Like, why else am I going to be paying it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry. Why else are they going to be paying it? Because I'm already paying it. They know they've already got me. They're trying to give me the most, all the games that'll keep me tied to them. So, yeah, that makes sense.
They probably have the numbers to see, like, the amount of people who subscribe to Xbox Live Gold or PlayStation Network just to play Call of Duty Online. And even if it's just those people showing up and be like, well, if I get Game Pass for $5 extra per month, I'll get that game and I'll get it to be able to play it online and I get all these extra games. It sort of like is a very easy pitch to make, like, oh, this serves our Game Pass purposes. And then on top of that, we get King and all these other things. Obviously, that's, why they go for it. But for today's poll, let's see. I wanted to ask this about Pokemon voice acting. Let's go for it. Will a mainline Pokemon game have full voice acting within the next 5 years? Lucy, do you think there's any chance that happens?
Yeah, but I wonder if it's not just going to be one of those things where it's like, we got to make Pokemon different. I don't know why they've got this voice. We got to make Pokemon different. What do the kids like? The kids, they like the voice acting.
It's the Tom Cruise producer character from Tropic Thunder. Yeah, we got to get voice acting in there for the kids.
The kids. Jan says 8 years.
8 years, okay. Very good. That's the over-under.
But also, I think, Abs raises a great point. Voice acting, yes, but will it be good?
Yeah, well, no. That's that. No, yeah. No, it won't be. Absolutely. And okay, and maybe that's another question. Like, do people even want these games to have voice acting if it would be bad? And I think a lot of people would say no. Actually,
I wonder if there's an option. Because I mean, like, typically, if I've ever played a JRPG where the English dub is, I like to play stuff in Japanese where I can. If they give you the option of both the English and Japanese, I will probably default to Japanese.
Yeah.
Or they could do the Okami thing, just like a nonsense language, or like an Animal Crossing, like.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, honestly, I think there's probably a lot of those, like, character. Well, no, because it's just like the sound effect, right? The shoo shoo when a character comes on the screen to the fight.
Have they changed? Have they changed those? Like, because when the box from the Pokemon, like, still the old Game Boy ones, where it was like, it sounded like I don't know, someone yelling down a wire and going through a blender.
Right. Yeah.
Did they change those? Do they sound like normal now?
I think it's still mostly that, right? I think it's that. I think it's that because they go for the nostalgia effect. And also, Game Freak loves to reuse stuff. So, yeah, there's still just those chimes.
Oh, there's still farts, apparently, according to Still Night. Oh, yeah, there's still MIDI cries.
MIDI cries,
that is ridiculous, by the way.
MIDI cries is my favorite Bjork album. Okay, what's up on Giant Bomb this day, this Wednesday, August 3rd, 2022, Lucy James's birthday? What are we expecting today?
Oh, thank you to everyone who said happy birthday, by the way.
Yeah.
It is very excited to say Jeff's Bizarre Adventure. We have finished the One Punch Man Gaiden, and we are back with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and we have begun Stardust Crusaders with everyone's problematic fave, Jotaro. Like, to the point, I say problematic fave because he keeps calling his mom a bitch. Like, he's like, you're so annoying, bitch. And I'm like,
well, he's just the original Jesse. He's the influence for Jesse Pinkman, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. So that's coming out today. It's the first 2 episodes of Stardust Crusaders. We've got Arcade Pit. Who's on the pit this week?
I can't remember. I knew for a while, and now I can't remember. I think it's a good crew, but I'm sorry.
I can't remember either. It's not in Discord.
Well, we figured out build a bumper sticker test stream is not happening. Jan is on.
No.
Is Barber Jan on? That's right. Is Barber Jan on this week? And Hyam? Okay.
It's and Hyam. Hell yeah.
So yeah, we are. We're. I don't know. Backler just came in chat and said no bumper sticker stream.
And
Barber
Ty
next
Tuesday.
Week. Okay, Barber Jan's next. So Hyam. Okay, Hyam and Jan. That sounds like a good crew right there. I'm gonna be watching.
And Author Blues and Ty Tuesday.
Awesome. And then so sorry about the bumper sticker stream not happening, but
Mhm.
Albummer 49 featuring Dan Reichert. Lucy, I have got to see this.
I'm already scared, confused, excited. Do we know what they're talking about?
I know, but everyone says I think Jan knows, but I don't know if we're supposed to spoil it or not.
No, I don't. Let's not spoil it.
Because
if
apparently
we
it's like
don't know.
Jan. I think he said he liked this album, so I'm like, oh, what is it? But I didn't want to like just ask
What
him.
kind of music does Dan Reichert listen to?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing this is a guess, so maybe it's not a spoiler. Is it Chinese Democracy by Guns N' Roses? I think that's possible.
The only person who liked that album.
Yeah, he was like actually anticipating it for years. But his personality clashing with theirs is going to be, I think, fantastic. They're going to be aghast. I can't wait. And then it's not on the calendar, but we are doing a Fortnite stream. Oops, all seen us. Look out for that later today as well, everybody. So
there was a fantastic moment in Discord the other day where Jason was trying to find John Cena, and he went, I don't want this to be part of the bit, but I genuinely can't see him in the store.
Oh, what a dumb thing. That's so fun.
And he'd gone early. Oh, they announced the album.
Okay,
Wait.
all right. Awesome. Let's see, what is it? I'm going to click here.
Oh, God. It's WWE Originals. 17 unlistenable tracks by thick adults covered in baby oil.
Including Stacy Keibler, Kurt Angle, Rikishi, Eddie and Chavo Guerrero on a track together, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Chris Jericho,
John
of
Cena.
course, and John Cena. He's gonna rap, I'm sure.
The Dudley Boys. Are
definitely
these
have to
people
listen to this.
real?
Kurt Angles is special, says Marino. So fantastic.
I'm very excited.
All right, he's got the updated schedule. Let me pop this up here real quick. Oh, that's not gonna work. There we go. All right, so Lucy, you're like, I know you're doing the hanging out with the Millers and everything. You got anything, any special meals you're gonna have for your birthday, anything like that? You're gonna go get a big coffee? Are you gonna use any of your like Starbucks coupons they send you for your birthday or anything like that?
Oh, no. I mean, I've been looking through. Don't worry about it. I got my free 5% off coupon from Target Circle.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about birthdays is I love it when people message me on LinkedIn. Like, I'm always like, who is using this social network for this? But
Marky Zuck, just wishing you a happy birthday. This is Marky Zuck here. Happy birthday, Lucy. Shouts.
on LinkedIn, put it in my LinkedIn fucking
That's
story
Microsoft. Satya
profile.
Nadella, happy birthday. That's what I meant to say. Satya Nadella.
No, I was like, hey, if Zuck was using LinkedIn, do you think he has a LinkedIn?
He probably has a LinkedIn.
He probably does.
I think Tom from MySpace definitely has a LinkedIn. So Mark Zuckerberg doesn't want to feel
100%.
left out. All right, let's get out of here. Let's wrap. Let's let Lucy go enjoy her birthday. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Lucy, for hanging out on your birthday. Thank you all
for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you all for listening. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.